Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, welcome to my tribe. And if you're coming back for another video, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for staying subscribed. As I promised you guys in the last video, I'll be speaking on hydro fatigue as well as protein overload, because it's so easy sometimes just to get to mess up our moisture protein balance. So let's get right into the video. Firstly, we'll talk about hydro fatigue. I have my notes, so I'll be looking down now and again. Please excuse me. I hope it's not a problem. Welcome to the new subbies as well. I see, guys, we're growing. Oh my gosh. But okay. As I was saying, hydro fatigue is damage to the hair follicles as a result of excessive swelling and shrinking, or not giving your hair enough time to go back to its original state. So what happens when you wash your hair, or you spray your hair, or you drench your hair with water? Your hair follicles swells to increase in volume and to allow or to accept more moisture into your hair. And then as it dries, it shrinks back to its size and the water evaporates into the atmosphere. Okay, cool, that's what happens. But now if you have too many wet cycles without giving your hair enough time to dry, you can get hydro fatigue. Your hair just swells so much that it doesn't have enough time to go back to its original size, or your hair follicle rather does not get enough time to go back to its original size, or to its original shape or format. So as a result, your hair gets hydro fatigue, or gets excessive moisture. And another cause of excessive moisture is deep conditioning overnight. As I told you guys, don't do it. Once is fine. Once won't damage your hair that much, but it shouldn't be a habit, or it shouldn't be a hair practice that you do. Or using products that do not have any protein in it, which then causes your protein moisture ratio, or causes an imbalance in your protein and moisture content in your hair. And another cause is hair porosity. So if you're someone with high porosity hair, you are more likely to have hydro fatigue than someone who has low porosity hair, because your pores, or your hair follicles, or your hair cuticle rather, is open, or is more open than that of low porosity hair, and therefore you can accept more moisture than someone who has low porosity and your moisture. So you accept more moisture, and it's so much easier for your hair to have excessive moisture than it needs. So you will know you have hydro fatigue if your hair, signs of hydro fatigue are hair breakage. So hair breaks more than it should, or more than it usually does, more than it sheds actually. And when you stretch your hair, there's no elasticity. It just stretches on and on until it breaks. Or when you stretch, it doesn't bounce back to its original, to where it was. It just stays straight. Your hair is dull and it's limp, it's lifeless. As I've said, like, it's mushy. It feels way too soft than it should, sort of like mushy peas that I hate. Your hair becomes drier than usual because there's no protein that gives it strength, or coats the cuticle and protect it and strengthen it, and therefore there's no fatty layer. Your pores, or your cuticles, stay open, causing your hair to evaporate. I hope you can hear me because of this drug. The water in your hair evaporates when it comes in contact with heat, and not just like your heat from your hair dryer or your straightener, but from even the sun, which then causes your follicles or your hair strand to be damaged. You lose more moisture than you should be, causing your hair to be drier than usual. And when you style your hair, you cannot hold the style. Your style just does not stay in place. Your curls or your coils don't form as they used to. Then you might have hydro fatigue. But it's rather easy, or it's not that difficult to just correct or prevent it. So these are the steps that you do. Make sure that if you find that you have hydro fatigue, or you have moisture overload, you should add or incorporate protein into your hair. So this could be by using the ORS hair mayonnaise, and not using food from the cupboard or using eggs. Don't stay away from that, because the type of protein that you need is micro proteins that are small enough to penetrate into hair follicle, and these are hydrolyzed proteins that you find in your hair products, whereas your proteins that you find in your eggs or in your mayonnaise, they're too large to actually penetrate your hair and make a difference. So instead they just coat or sit on your hair instead of penetrating. So you should deep condition with, also you can also deep condition with the Palmer's protein pack or any product that has protein or is aimed at adding protein to hair. Rice water treatment is also a good inexpensive way to add protein back into your hair. And how long it takes for you to see a difference depends on to the extent or the damage, to the extent of which you have your hair is damaged. So for some people it could be within a week, for some you need to wash their routines, but it's also important to actually space out your protein treatments. And also you just limit the time that your hair is drenched. So you could either air dry your hair after washing it, or you could use a cotton t-shirt or microfiber towel. And also after applying any water-based or moisture product, it's important to seal the moisture in so that it does not evaporate to the atmosphere, therefore damaging your hair follicle. And also when you shampoo your hair pre-poo with coconut oil, with avocado oil, sunflower oil, or olive oil, so these are able to bind to the protein that's into your hair and they penetrate your hair follicle, and they also prevent oversaturation of your hair. So let's go on to protein overload. So protein is important in our hair routine or in a hair regimen because it provides strength to our hair, it repairs damage, and also because protein is your hair structure. I mean, your hair is made out of protein, which is keratin, so we actually need to add protein to our hair. Protein overload is when you have too much protein in or on your hair, and then this results in your hair becoming very dry because moisture cannot penetrate, and because the protein has coated your hair so that it becomes stiff. So you find that sometimes, or you find that when you have protein overload, your hair becomes stiff because the protein is like just basically coating your hair, resulting in there's no elasticity. Your hair is just straight. It breaks easily because it's now brittle because of too much protein, as I always say. When you have protein overload, your curls don't form as well, but your hair is stiffer than normal and your hair sheds a lot. So in order to reverse your protein overload or to repair or correct protein overload, you need to clarify your hair. So you need to remove all impurities and remove any product that is into your hair. So you could use a clarifying shampoo, you could use bentonite clay mask, or you could use an apple cider vinegar rinse just to remove the excess protein on your hair, and also deep condition with moisture-based products. Kind of like limits the amount of protein that you have in your hair. I find that it's easier to have protein overload than moisture overload because most products actually do contain protein to kind of balance your protein moisture, to kind of keep your protein moisture in balance. Does that make sense? I don't know, my English is gone. But to keep your moisture and your protein levels balanced, most products actually do have protein, but usually this protein will be like at the bottom or like at the end of the ingredients. It's just a little bit. So it's so much easier to get protein overload because you hear about rice water and all you want to do is just use rice water every day. You end up getting protein overload. Or hearing about your egg and mayo hair mask or avocado and banana hair mask, and because it's DIY, you want to use it every day because it's more natural and it shouldn't damage. But too much of a good thing can be bad. So just make sure that in your hair routine that you include protein. If you're someone with high porosity hair, every 3 to 4 weeks. And if you're someone with a low porosity hair, you incorporate proteins every 6 to 8 weeks because it's much easier for someone that has low porosity hair to have protein overload comparison to someone who has high porosity hair, whereas someone with high porosity hair can get moisture overload in comparison to someone with low porosity hair. So too much of a good thing is bad, but it's also important to keep everything in balance. Yeah, that's it for today's video. If you have any questions, as you should know, feel free to pop them in the comment section and I'll answer you. And if you have any suggestions, comment section as well. I hope you learned a thing or two, and from me, I'll see you guys next time. Bye. Oh, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Bye.